Although Summer Game Fest 2024 is pretty much over, as far as I know, we still have some new reveals in regards to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero that I will be covering today, which includes new upcoming info, potential demo gameplay footage, what type of online modes will be available, etc. Timestamps are in the description below. Now, let's get straight into it. So first, let's go over the interview that was recently conducted regarding the producer of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and GameSpot. Now, personally, I thought the interview itself was kind of a bit safe in terms of them not asking like really big and important questions. Although I don't really fault them that much. Some questions are just not gonna be answered anyway. That's just how it is when it comes to the industry. Anyway, the interviewer here actually asked two important questions. The first question was in regards to voice lines. So let's hear it.
Obviously, the voices of these characters are very important. What's kind of been the system and approach in bringing those voices back? Are you kind of taking previously recorded stuff and reusing it, which might sound bad, but as someone who loves Dragon Ball, sounds perfect to me. I want to hear him say Kamehameha exactly how I remember it, but what's the approach for audio and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, actually, that's an area that is a bit out of scope for,
Oh, okay, that's
right
fine.
now, so
It's a little bit of
talk
secret.
about
I'm
too
excited
much.
to see it.
So one thing I find interesting about this is that the interviewer asked, if there would be reused voice lines, and the producer basically said that that's out of the scope. I don't know, how do I feel about that? Are there going to be actual reused voice lines for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? And they just don't want to reveal or tell people because that would kind of be a bit bad PR, to say, oh, well, I'm using audio from Dragon Ball Legends, or I'm using audio from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Fighters, or the Budokai Tenkaichi games. Or is it more so like they just don't want to go into all of the specifics yet? Next, the interviewer asks questions in regards to online mode.
Can you talk a little bit about the online component? Because obviously the previous game in the series or spiritual successors, predecessors, didn't have much of an online component. Can you talk a little bit about how online is implemented? Is it going to be, available, or how are you working with that?
Yeah, so there is, playing with friends, and then there'll be ranked matches as well.
So yes, we will be having a ranked mode, and we will be able to play as our friends online. And that's pretty much it. At least those are the most important questions I felt that were asked and answered. There wasn't really much other than that, so obviously it seems that things are still being secretive and certain information is still being kept in the dark. Next, let's go over the collector's edition for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So obviously there was a collection edition announced where you would have a figurine of Goku versus Broly along with a bunch of other stuff that costs $200. Well, according to Reddit and I guess various other people, there is no stock of the collector's edition. As you can see, one person says, I couldn't buy the thing because the site was slow. Now it's forever in my cart, unable to purchase. Obviously, this guy's frustrated. And looking at the comments, a lot of people are obviously annoyed. Another person makes a thread where he says, anyone know what's going on with this? Asking because all of the premium collector's edition is sold out and I really want the diorama. EU. There are no filters, by the way. So far, this seems to be for the Europe version. Now, when I go on the website itself on the US version, I'm actually able to pre-order various editions of Sparking Zero, which includes the one with the diorama. Specifically, I tested it out and I tried to see if I can pre-order the PS5 version and the Steam version, and well, both allowed me to do so. So far, it seems that for the United States, when you try to pre-order the Steam version or PS5 version, it is still available. So if you want to pay $230, well, here you have it. One thing I found amusing was there are people reselling the premium collector's edition for $400. That is crazy. $400, $439, there's a bunch of listings. I would not suggest that you purchase any of these. Who knows, it might be in stock sooner than you think. Now let's get into the big news. Yesterday there was a Dragon Ball website update in which, I think Victor Uchida, I think that's his name, covered information regarding Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And a key important thing to note is that he says more info will be released in the coming days, so stay tuned. Well, currently it is Tuesday, 1:07 p.m. as of the time that I'm recording this video. So what I suspect is that we'll be getting information either tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, because usually they don't release information during the weekends. When I look in the comment section, the Dragon Ball official page says, next week we will be introducing comments from the producer of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, whose latest PV was released on June 8th. Look forward to it. So I take this as comment as one of a few ways. The first is that there will be a new interview which will reveal some important information regarding Dragon Ball Sparking Zero that wasn't covered before. Could be gameplay, could be characters, could be any type of information. The second thing I interpreted this statement as, we might be getting gameplay footage. Now these two aren't really mutually exclusive. They could still put out some information regarding Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and they can put up some raw gameplay of the game. So I want to say that we're definitely going to get something this week, so stay tuned. There is one last thing I wanted to talk about, and that's with the fact that we may be getting more gameplay footage or info reveals from the bigger Dragon Ball creators, even like a demo gameplay footage. So to be specific, during Summer Game Fest, I noticed that creators like Globku, Doto, Seereax, and Ndukauba made posts about how they were at the Summer Game Fest, with some of them even making tweets about themselves on an airplane or traveling. At face value, you may say, well, they just want to watch trailers in the big screen and be with a bunch of people and enjoy the event. But let's kind of use our brains here. In this picture, there is something that says Bandai Namco check-in, which means that Bandai Namco themselves are at the event. Furthermore, there is even a video where Seereax mentions this.
I'm so hyped. And again, look, all I'm going to say is trust and believe me when I tell you this is the place you're going to want to be for Sparking Zero. And I will prove it soon. Okay? I just trust me. Okay?
What does this all mean? Taking into account everything, I basically interpreted this as many creators and likely websites got access to play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. But due to NDAs and embargo, they can't yet talk about their experience playing the game or potentially show gameplay footage if they were allowed to record it. I am not saying that this is a fact. I don't talk to any of these creators, and this is speculation on my part. But in the real world, I don't really see these folks traveling to a California event just to see something on the big screen. Clearly, talks were made, and I speculate that these folks got access to some sort of demo or early build with a certain amount of playable characters and certain stages. Anywhere from today to later this month or in the future, I imagine that the embargo could lift, and they'll either talk about the experience playing the game or showcase gameplay of what they recorded, or just do both. But of course, there's always the chance that I'm wrong. What do you think?